Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
Speaking of singers and performers,
yeah,
our another Akronite guy, Jani Lane.
I thought you said singers.
I did say singer.
I didn't. I mistook you. Did you say unemployed drunks?
Well, that too.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure I understand.
Right. You know, sing me a song, I'm a singer.
Do me no wrong.
Yeah.
The bringer of evil.
Right. Well, evidently Jani Lane couldn't hold it together long enough to make a Warrant reunion successful.
Yes. Well, he did make it, 2 months.
Yeah. So all we heard for well over a year was that Jani was coming back.
Yeah, it was big news.
Jani's coming back. Stephen Sweet is back in the band. Joey Allen's back in the band. The only component missing was Jani Lane.
Right.
And so it finally happens. Relaunched a brand new website. Relaunched a MySpace. Talked about a big tour with Cinderella and the Lynch Mob. It was going to be the biggest thing ever.
Right.
So obviously it didn't happen. Cinderella, Tom Kiefer blew out a vocal cord, canceled the tour. Warrant was going to forge on without them.
Yes, they were, and they did.
For 20 shows.
Yes.
Was it 20 shows?
If that.
Yeah. Was it 12 shows?
It might have been 12. I don't know. It might have been 2 for all I know.
I think it was 12 shows.
Oof.
Because we got word, not saying who we heard it from,
right,
that 2 out of the 12 shows Jani was actually sober for.
Yes, 2 of 12.
2 of 12. The other 10 fucked up.
He's still a fucking dick.
Now, we've had Jani on the show, I don't know, at least a half a dozen times over the years.
Yeah, like Jani.
We don't have a problem with him personally.
Yeah.
But every time the guy gets an opportunity to do something, kind of regain some of his career anyway, he just blows it.
Got any questions about that?
Yeah, well, we do. What is this guy's problem?
He likes the drugs and alcohol, man.
That's just pathetic.
He likes them more than he likes things like, custody of his kid, or making money, or not having to work a real job, or, a lot of things, man.
Sure.
It's sad.
It is sad. Well, anyway, it was being that you and I are in circles where we hear stuff from different people in the know. It was,
are you guys name dropping?
Well, I didn't name names. I just said we're in the know.
We get it. You know famous people that we don't.
We're going to get to that message board thing probably in the next hour.
All right, cool.
So, anyway, we were informed that during Rocklahoma, that backstage the other members of Warrant were already auditioning replacement singers.
Yeah. In some other tent or somewhere just a little away from wherever Jani was.
So they were calling the other bands that were performing at Rocklahoma to see if they could possibly tap someone and make, somebody from another band that could possibly carry the Warrant material.
Sure.
And before you know it, the announcement is made. We've parted ways with Jani Lane again.
See you later. Bye-bye.
So do you think this is the last and final time that they'll allow this to ever happen again?
Wow, that's the question of the night. I honestly still think it would depend on the circumstances. Because if Jani could clean it up and do, a year or two's worth of solo gigs and actually show up for them all and be in decent voice and sober, I think that people would still give him regular money for shows. And that being the case, then Warrant would bring him back. I mean, I don't think they'll bring... See, I think what's happened by this time with Jani's chronic history of being a tool is that the Warrant name is no longer worth anything with Jani Lane. It's not worth more with Jani Lane than without him.
Right.
And that's the only way they would take it. The only way they're going to take him back is if him being in the band is worth more to them financially. And I think he's burned up that bridge. I think he's literally burned it up with the promoters.
Right.
So it would be tough to see him come back.
Well, when Jani was still in the band, neither Joey Allen or Steven Sweet would, rejoin the band or have anything to do with him.
Right. They hated him and then got over it for money.
Well, no, he left the band. They got Jamie St. James, and then all of a sudden, Sweet and Allen came back.
Yeah, they came back. Well, but what I'm saying is they got over their problem with Jani for cash.
Right.
They let him come back because they had that big tour lining up.
And it could have possibly been a fairly lucrative thing for all of them.
I think it would have been. I mean, look, the Cinderella circumstance, it is what it is. It's not fake. It happened.
It did happen.
And that's fine, but if Jani was in sound mind, I think they probably could have continued on and still all of them made a pretty good check.
Sure.
I honestly don't think you would have had that many people looking for refunds because Cinderella dropped off the show.
Right.
I really don't.
Well, what I find funny, and you and I both know this as fact, that when a certain member of a band cannot perform due to their habits,
right?
It's amazing the excuses that the promoters or the management of the band will come up with.
Oh yeah, they all have a reason.
It's either a weather problem, or a traffic problem, or couldn't make a connecting flight, or it's always some circumstance that they got to come up with a story.
The bus broke down. That's a big one.
So you got to wonder how many people actually buy the story.
Well, I think it dwindles with each passing cancellation.
Well, I mean, fan-wise, obviously you and I are a little more in tune with what goes on in the business, and we really know what the real story is.
Oh, sure.
Your average Joe fan out there, when he's told, hey, Warrant won't be performing tonight because they, like you said, the bus broke down, or, they missed a flight or something or other. How many fans just say, oh, well, that's reasonable, that probably happened, or they don't even question it when they're...
I don't think they question it
at all.
I don't think they question it even a little bit.
They just go, oh, yeah, they couldn't make the gig. Oh, man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucks. Where do I get my money back?
Sure. Well, I can tell you as a fact, and now that it's been 8 years.
Yes.
There was that abysmal Metal Edge tour back in, 2002.
Uh-huh.
It was Warrant, Rat, Dokken, LA Guns, Firehouse.
Was that the one where they were booked to play like fields and stuff?
Yeah, it was really awful. It was.
Can you imagine? You rolled on some of that tour, didn't you?
I did. I was on several of the shows.
What is it like? And I'm asking, and I don't know if you actually experienced this, but if you did, this has to be a story. What is it like when you roll up on a place for a gig And it's a field.
Yeah, I didn't go to any of those shows. I actually went to legitimate venues.
Okay.
One of them was a makeshift venue, I guess, but it still had seating and stuff, which was the high school. It was a high school stadium in North Canton, I believe.
Right.
It was their track and field, and they basically erected a stage out there, and they used the bleacher seating for the seating.
Nice.
And then the main area, I guess you would call it the floor area, was the actual infield of the track.
Very nice.
So that was a makeshift situation. That was put on by WRQK.
Very nice.
In North Canton.
Nice.
But anyway, right after that particular gig, they were supposed to roll to Illinois.
Okay.
And they were supposed to play like 2 or 3 shows in the Indiana, Illinois, Missouri area. And
okay.
And it was all one promoter that was doing like the 3 shows. The gig in North Canton was on a Saturday.
Okay.
They were supposed to roll on Saturday night, use Sunday as a travel day. I guess they were supposed to play like on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday. It was two shows. It was supposed to be at a racetrack,
okay,
and another place, and then they were supposed to roll back east again and play in Pittsburgh on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the promoter didn't have the money.
All right.
Okay, because basically it was soft ticket sales, not good promotion, blah blah blah. Promoter didn't have the money. They finished up the gig. Saturday night in North Canton, they were supposed to roll to Illinois. The tour managers for the other bands, LA Guns being that they were the opening act on that tour,
mm-hmm.
they rolled early.
Okay.
So they rolled out they finished up their gig, they hung around for a little while, got in their bus, rolled out of town, headed for Illinois.
Right.
Prior to Firehouse, Warrant, Rat, and Dawkins leaving the area, they called ahead and talked to the promoter, and the promoter did not have the money.
Oof.
So rather than waste the time and money and fuel and everything, roll into Illinois for no gig, they just went directly to Pittsburgh.
Nice.
But the worst part about it is they were held up in hotels Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday until they played Thursday night.
Okay.
So they were in hotels for almost 4 days just waiting to play their gig on Thursday in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
So right after that show in North Canton, Jani and a couple of his local cronies that he knew went to a bar in North Canton and basically proceeded to get pretty plowed.
Imagine that.
Now, Billy was in the band at the time.
Okay.
And Jani went to some bar and he got into it with somebody down there. And,
right,
and
of course.
And he pulled the "Don't you know who I am? I'm Jani Lane of Warrant."
Oh boy.
And the guy proceeded to basically punch him out.
Are you really? Bang!
Yeah, really. So he rolled to Pittsburgh,
okay.
was down there for 3 days in his room on a bender.
He rolled to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, he went to Pittsburgh, which, was basically from North Canton to Pittsburgh was like an hour and a half ride.
I thought they had to go to Illinois.
Didn't go. Promoter didn't have the money.
Oh, so they just hung out. Okay.
They didn't go. They just went directly from North Canton to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And waited for 3 days to play their gig on Thursday.
All right, nice.
So this gave Jani time to basically lock himself in his room and proceeded to be on a 3-day bender.
Oh, nice.
So I was in Pittsburgh and I was giving, I'm going to drop a name here, I was giving Don Dawkins a ride down to the gig.
Okay,
and
name drop.
Yeah, name dropping. And he said, well, it looks like we're going to be playing a little bit longer set tonight. And I said, well, why is that? And he says, well, because they can't get Jani out of his room. He's locked in his room. They can't get him out of his room. He won't come out, and they can't get him out of the room.
Man.
So we show up at the venue. At the time it was called the Chevrolet Center, but it's, if anybody knows anything about Pittsburgh, it's in Station Square. It's on the south side of the river.
Okay.
From across from downtown. And there's a pavilion down there, and so the guys from Warrant are all there, and they're all dressed in their stage clothes.
Right.
Pretty pissed off. They're all, walking around just kind of shaking their head and just like, fuck,
Okay.
And so all the other bands, Rat, Firehouse, LA Guns, and of course Dokken, all played like 10, 15 minutes longer.
Okay, cool.
Each to make up for the Warrant thing. And of course, the next day, the publicist, sent out the letter that said that they apologized for the Warrant cancellation on that, but Jani was stuck in traffic.
Yeah, he was.
He was stuck in traffic.
Yeah, he was stuck in traffic. Nice.
And that Warrant would be returning to Pittsburgh to make up for that show later in the year.
Oh, right. And they never did.
Of course not. So there's one of those deals where you hear the publicist's or the management's, press release.
Sure.
And I believe we even had Billy on the show and asked him straight up, so were you having trouble getting from Cleveland to Pittsburgh after 3 days? Was it a 3-day trip for you? And of course he didn't want to comment on it.
Right.
Yes, it's by the incline. It's by the Monongahela inclines and the Duquesne inclines. So I see Jeff Kiss knows what I'm talking about.
Well, how about that?
Every time I go to Pittsburgh, I always take the Duquesne inclines up Mount Washington and go up to the Outlook station up there. But anyway, I know you hate Pittsburgh, so
yeah, Pittsburgh does suck.
I hate Pittsburgh.
I do.
But
if they drop a nuke, that's a good place.
Yeah. Well, I happen to like Pittsburgh personally, so.
Well, there's no accounting for your bad taste. It's all right.
That's right. In fact, when I see Bill Peters, I'm going to take this up with him in a club. You know what Chris said about Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Well, pass this message along to Chris for me, will you?
A big fistful. That's how I like it. A full plate of metal.
Right. So, anyway, getting back to Warrant, Jani couldn't hang for more than a dozen shows. Out of the band again, looking for a new lead singer.
Right.
And they tapped Robert Mason, formerly of Lynch Mob, Cry of Love, and currently of Big Cock.
Hey, the language, dude, really.
Right.
Watch your language in front of the lady, punk!
So there you are. So you sent over some audio with Robert Mason on lead vocal for Warrant?
Yeah, this is really interesting, actually. This is the audio. It's professionally shot on video that's actually on Blabber if you want to check it out. But and it's obviously professionally recorded, so it's not just an audience thing. And it's on an electronic press kit for Warrant Live. So I actually think this is what Warrant is showing to promoters trying to get gigs. That's how bad Jani has fucked them up.
Really?
Yeah, because it when you click on it, it says electronic press kit for Warrant Live, which makes me think they're just trying to convince promoters that they're a decent live band.
Well, great. Well, our good pal, and this brings up another subject, our good pal Eddie Trunk.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be on the show here next month.
Yeah,
Well, he gave the new Warrant, or the Warrant with Robert Mason, huge accolades.
Well, I don't doubt it. Robert Mason rules, dude.
Yeah, right. So let me read to you quickly what Eddie has to say about this whole thing, if I can find it. If I can find it really quick here.
Let's go. We got things to do.
Yeah. He actually evidently must have attended one of the shows with Robert Mason.
I wonder where he saw it at.
I think he saw it at the Myth in Minnesota.
Okay.
That's from what I gather.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Hey, how come Eddie blew off Rock the Bayou?
Oh, I wasn't aware he didn't go to that.
Yeah, we need to ask him that when we do have him on the show. Because XM promoted the shit out of Eddie Trunk will be live from Rock the Bayou, and then I was listening, and they had Kevin Cash saying, well, unfortunately, Eddie didn't make it.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck happened?
Maybe he was stuck in his hotel room.
Yeah, maybe. You mean in traffic?
Yeah, he was stuck in traffic.
Yeah, he was stuck in traffic.
Right. I'm looking for this stupid... I just thought about this when I was thinking about this story here.
Very nice.
He gave a whole review of the whole damn thing. If I can't find it here in a minute, we'll move on real quick.
All right.
I'm just searching his stories here.
And nothing there.
Well, Jani Lane replaced by Robert Mason as the new voice of Warrant.
Okay.
Let's see. That's just the. He did a review. I'm trying to. I don't know if he did a review somewhere. If he's got I guess not. Oh, Trunk Report. Maybe this is it.
It's in the Trunk Report.
The blog Trunk Report.
And the show comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah, I told you. Warrant, Trickster. Here it is. Maybe this is it.
All right.
Here we are. Yeah. Okay. Here we are. Great time hanging in the Twin Cities this past weekend. Hosted Warrant and Trickster at a great venue in St. Paul called the Myth.
Awesome.
So Eddie was in Minnesota.
Yeah, great.
Really great place to see a show. Awesome sound and stage and lighting. Really first-class venue. Got into Minnesota Friday afternoon and hit the Mall of America. Wow.
How cool is that?
Seriously. Which, if you didn't know, is the biggest mall in the world.
I am loving this.
Thank you, Rev.
Drink.
A little crazy to be big, to be... A little crazy, too big to be honest. Wow, what a weird sentence structure. But cool to check out, and the second time I was there. Very easy to actually get lost, no kidding. Then checked into the hotel.
So fucking what?
Right. Then checked into the hotel right next to the venue. Lots of rock folks hanging out, and both bands were also staying there.
Well.
Holy shit. Hurricane Alice was the first band I introed.
Hurricane Alice?
Yeah.
Good Lord, they're back?
Yeah.
I remember them from a zillion years ago.
Yeah, they only had one CD.
Yeah, and it wasn't good.
I have it.
Of course you do.
It's a new lineup with the singer as the only original member. Sounded good from the little I saw. Why, where were you, Eddie?
In other words, I had no interest in this shit.
Yeah, I introed him, went back to the dressing room, and got a blow job. My new Jersey buds, Trickster, were next up in what was the third show they have played since their reunion. That was it? Just 3 shows?
Cool.
Holy smokes.
They only played 3 shows total?
Yeah, that's what it says. Trickster were up next in what was the third show they have played since their reunion.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Fun is the best way I can describe Trickster, both on and off stage. The guys are obviously having a great time doing some shows again, but are also realistic about how far this can go, proven by the fact that they all have projects they continue to do. Clearly, Trickster are not and never were a metal band, and they are a fun hard rock band with catchy songs. They play well and have all original members on board. So take that, Hurricane Alice.
Wow.
They went down well, and the biggest reaction was for the band's hit Give It To Me Good, which was the last song of the set.
Of course it was.
Kind of an interesting play on words. They went down well for Give It To Me Good.
Well, Eddie's a commentator, not a writer.
I guess. The 1 hour show had songs from the band's 2 studio albums and also featured One in a Million, Rockin' Horse, Road of 1,000 Dreams, and Surrender. The toughest part for these guys in their reunion is that the success they had came so late in the 80s scene that they were not around long enough to have the same impact as other acts from that era.
Dude, you know what? Hold on 1 second before you read further. Can you honestly, and look, I like Steve Brown. You know, I think he's a great dude. And he's fun. But can you honestly imagine sitting through an hour of Trickster?
An hour of Trickster?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that would be really hard.
Yeah.
And I don't even mind like Rocking Horse or Give It To Me Good. I mean, I don't love them, but you know, it's better than 90% of the horse shit on the radio today.
Sure.
But even that being said, I can't even imagine past those 2 songs listening to a third song, let alone 12 or 13.
Right.
And 9 that I wouldn't even have ever known. Oof.
Hopefully the second time around we'll reconnect with the old crowd and get them some new fans. Great to see them as always, and a blast to hang out with as always. Wow, he must have taken some writing lessons from Jennifer.
Yeah.
Took me back to the days of Studio One in Newark when they were just first coming up.
Okay, we get it. You know them.
All right. Warrant headline and were a total revelation.
Really?
This was the second gig with the new singer Robert Mason, also a New Jersey native, and I was very interested to see how they would do. Okay. Robert is a great singer, and I have known for many years. He was with Lynch Mob and Cry of Love, to name a few, and it always amazed me It always amazed me that no one grabbed the guy for a major act.
I agree with that.
Well, everyone else's loss is Warrant's gain. The band has never sounded better.
Wow.
The mood in the band's dressing room was so much more relaxed, and you could sense the relief that they had having a singer they did not have to worry about on stage being sober. Wow. Now, why don't you say shit like that on your radio show, Eddie?
Yeah, no kidding.
You would be so much more cutting edge if you would just be honest like that.
Well, he's busy with other tidbits of knowledge, like she's the metal queen, she's the metal queen, she's the metal queen.
Yeah.
Lee Aaron's the metal queen.
Gotcha. To say Mason nailed it would be an understatement. He looked like he had the gig forever, fronted the band perfectly, and sang like a bird, hitting every note effortlessly.
Wow.
I have never heard Warrant sound this good. The band has much harder edge live, and with Robert nailing it, they were incredible.
Wow.
Wow, listen to all those accolades.
A lot of big words.
I've always loved some Warrant stuff, but would never call myself a major fan. But this is really, really good now.
Nice.
The set included all the hits as well as some of the heavy stuff from Dog Eat Dog, like Hole in the Wall and Machine Gun. I'm really looking forward to see what this band does with Robert on board. I encourage them to do a live CD or a DVD so people can hear this guy sing and how he handles the band's music.
Okay.
All due respect to Jani Lane. I hope he gets well, and he wrote some great songs, but Mason is so much better for this band at this time. Why don't you step up and say shit like that on your show, Eddie?
Yeah, no kidding. We listen, Eddie. We listen to your show.
Obviously, we all want the original bands whenever possible. There is magic and chemistry often with original lineups that can never be replaced. But there are also times when a replacement member does it so well it takes things to a whole new level, and this is one of those times.
Wow.
I really hope people give this a chance, and let's hope Jani gets the help he needs to turn his life around. I have a backstage shot coming up to the site soon. Great time, and I thank Warrant, Trickster, John, Tracy at ARM Entertainment, everyone at The Myth, and all the listeners and the viewers from Minnesota areas for coming out. I was also interviewed by Izzy Presley, and I'll let you know when that will air on local TV. Hope to come to The Myth again. Great place and a fun night.
Well, good, man. Sounds like it was a great time.
So, according to Eddie, they get thumbs up.
Yeah, big thumbs up there. Robert Mason makes Warrant good. That's basically what he said.
Yeah. Looking
He said,
forward.
I don't like these guys except for when Robert Mason's in the band.
Right. Looking forward to shooting episodes 2 and 3 of my new VH1 classic show. Get this. It's called That Metal Show.
Oh.
That's the name of his new show.
What, was this metal show taken?
That Metal Show. This Wednesday in New York City. Our premiere date for the first show on the channel is November 15th. Cannot wait for you to see what me, Jim Florentine, and Jamieson, who's Jamieson? I don't know who that is, have in store for you and tell you about all the great guests. Please email on the homepage link if you want to be in the audience for a taping. So anyway, they need Jim Florentine on the show to make it interesting.
Can't wait.
Yay. So should we listen to some Robert Mason stylings here on some Warrant track?
Hey, what metal show are you listening to?
The Metal Show.
Oh, That Metal Show.
That Metal Show, that's right.
What metal show do you want to watch?
That Metal Show.
That's right.
Featuring Eddie Trunk and Jim Florentine.
Yeah, you know, it's not any old metal show. It's That Metal Show.
Right. Very original title.
Hey, are you listening to the classic metal show? No, stupid. I'm listening to That Metal Show.
Right. Too funny.
That name is really not good.
Not good.
And we will ask Eddie about the name of the show. That Metal Show?
Well, he's going to tell you, hey, got nothing to do with me, man. They just called me and asked me if I wanted to do the show, and they had some producers, had some ideas, and I said I'm down with that just as long as I can get my fat, ugly mug back on VH1. And
wouldn't it be something if he says, well, you know, Florentine's a big fan of That 70s Show, and that's kind of the idea he came up with.
Right.
Bubba.
Right.
Great.
Fantastic. All right, let's listen to Warrant with some Robert Mason on lead vocal.
Okay, and we'll judge.
Okay, let's play some. Wow.
It's not bad.
Sounds like Big Cock meets Warrant.
Well, they expelled a Big Cock, so why not make it sound like Big Cock?
Right. Well, let's take a listen a little more. Sounds good.
Dude, I would go see this.
Yeah, I noticed that they stepped up the backing vocals a little more.
Yeah, and that's not sounding so good, but Mason sounds great.
I mean, you can tell it's Robert Mason. I mean, he's just got that certain swagger style of his vocal.
Mm-hmm.
But you can definitely tell it's him. But he's in that range, that higher range that Jani used to hit years ago.
That's fucked up. I hear no burps or puking sound in them.
Nice.
So red and I close the door. But I don't think I'm gonna love you anymore. Oh, it must be magic.
Well, the guy definitely can carry a tune.
I mean, that's probably the second show he ever played with him, or the first one.
Yeah, as soon as he gets really broken in with the band, he's really going to be solid.
I mean, that's the part that amazes me, is that this is like right out of the tent there in Rocklahoma.
Right.
Probably doesn't even fully know the songs yet.
Well, he is a talented guy, that's for sure.
Yeah, we got to get him on the show. I have to reach out to him.
Yeah, you got his number. Call him
I
up.
do.
Call his ass up.
What, right now?
No.
So I'll call him.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I dropped name.
Did you drop a name?
I did. I name dropped again.
Damn it.
Everybody, my friend Mr. Jerry Nixon on the bass. Jerry, this is everybody. Everybody, this is Jerry.
Well, he keeps his voice in shape.
Yeah, he does. Man, I've always thought he was great, man. I have to say that even though it was written in broken English, I have to agree with Eddie Trunk.
Right.
Robert Mason should have been huge.
Yeah, I agree. He didn't crack once, doing that vocal exercise there at all.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds great, dude.
Sound running through the woods back to Uncle Tom's shack where the full moon shines through the rooftop crack. Oh my God, child, who are we gonna tell? Sharing baby belongs in a prison cell. Keep your mouth shut, that's what we're gonna tell you. That you wanna wind up in the whiskey world too. I know a secret down in Uncle Tom's cabin. I know a secret that I just can't tell. I know a secret down in Uncle Tom's cabin. Oh yeah. All right, shut up already.
Nice.
You wishing well. Oh. Thank you. Thank you much.
Well, hey, good for them.
I'll go see that in a minute.
Yeah, they definitely got the right guy.
I think so, man. I think they might have a decent run in them.
Now I guess we got to call up Dave Henserling and say, now what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, sadly.
You lost
Maybe.
You lost half your cock. What are you going to do now?
Yeah, what are you going to do with that with only half a cock?
It's not so big anymore now, is it, Dave? Well, hey, good for Robert, good for Warrant. Glad to see that they got somebody reliable.
Well, maybe Henserling will get Oni Logan.
Wouldn't that be something?
Great.
Wouldn't that be something?
Oni moves back here from Switzerland to sing in Big Cock.
Yeah. Well, I was lonely. I was searching for the sun.
'Cause I'm a bad motherfucker. He'd be putting that.
He'd be putting his little swagger on there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You're just breaking my balls.
Nice. Thanks for checking out the Best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.